You can see the objectives of this video on the screen. At the end of this video, you will be able to describe why transporting is important and relevant. Describe the organization of transport development. You will be able to describe different transport scenarios with HANA. You will be able to explain transport for HANA and ABAP objects together. You will be able to also explain the transport for only native HANA objects. So before we could begin, first of all, it is important to understand why transport is important. I'm sure you must be aware about transport management in SAP, which ensures the consistency of applications or development objects throughout your landscape. SAP has already offered some standard tools for managing change management. However, with the introduction of HANA, for the first time, you can see a combination of HANA objects plus ABAP objects which gets transported from one system to another. So for understanding transport in HANA, you need to first understand organization of transport development. So the organization of transport development in HANA is very similar to SAP NetWeaver ABAP. You have a HANA repository, which is a central storage in HANA database, and all the development objects are stored under HANA repository. HANA repository structure is built using two types of packages. You can see in figure over here, there are two types of packages. First type of package is a structural package, which is a group of functions. Basically, it doesn't contain any development object. It can be a combination of structural and non-structural packages. And the second type of packages are non-structural packages. Non-structural packages contain development objects. So each package can have unique development objects, but the same name can be used in different packages. There are multiple scenarios with HANA when you want to transport your objects from one system to another. So first scenario can be if you have created any ABAP object in ABAP layer. Say for example, if you have created a CDS view, or if you have created an AMDP, or if you have created a report in which you have written OpenSQL statements and you want to transport it from one system to another. The scenario is straightforward. You can lock your object in a request and transport it using CTS, that is Change Transport System. The second scenario is if you have a HANA object as well as ABAP object. We say SAP HANA content for ABAP for SAP HANA applications. That means you have a combination of HANA object as well as ABAP object. For example, if you have created a modeling view and on top of that you have created an external view, or if you have created a database procedure and on top of that you have created a ABAP proxy, and now you want to transport both these objects from one system to another, in that case you can use HTC, that is HANA Transport Container, or HTA, that is HANA Transport for ABAP. Third scenario is you have only HANA object, that means HANA native object. You haven't created any ABAP object for the same. So for example, if you have created a database procedure or a trigger or a function or a sequence or synonym, anything like this in HANA database, and you want to transport it from one system to another. In this scenario, there are two options. If in case your landscape already has CTS, then SAP has come up with the advanced version of CTS, that is CTS Plus, which you can use for transporting HANA native objects. However, if your landscape doesn't have CTS already, then another option is you can use SAP HANA Application Lifecycle Management. This is a new tool which SAP has introduced for transport management of HANA objects. So now you will learn details of these tools in the next. So here are some details about HTC, HANA Transport Container. which you can use for transporting HANA objects as well as ABAP objects together from one system to another. So HTC is a logical transport object which you can use or which can be transported with standard ABAP transport tools. It contains HANA repository objects from a delivery unit. Delivery unit is nothing but a folder which contains the objects which you want to transport from one system to another. HTC can be transported along with the corresponding ABAP objects which you want to transport from one system to another. After transporting this request, ABAP objects are imported into transported ABAP system and HANA objects are imported into HANA repository of the transported system. However, the transported object may or may not get activated depending upon the system settings which are available in your HTC. Since SPS 10 onwards, SAP says that HTC is now outdated and you can go for a new tool, that is HTA, HANA Transport for ABAP. However, HTC can be used in transition period and SAP recommends to go for HTA. So here you can see what is HTA and what are the features of HTA. HTA is HANA Transport for ABAP. So HTA can be used for development objects of ABAP and HANA which are closely related to each other. For example, you have created a HANA object in which you have used ABAP table. You have to select HANA packages and objects for transporting together with corresponding ABAP object. You have to first synchronize these objects and packages from HANA repository to ABAP. The transaction code for the same is SCTS_HTA. So how it happens is you can synchronize the status of ABAP objects and packages from HANA repository and HTA. So once you synchronize, it then processes modified objects for synchronization. And once the synchronization is done, the selected objects and packages are returned to HTA repository and logged in a transport request. For synchronization, it always considers active versions of your objects. You can also handle text in different languages in HANA. And by default, it uses original language as per HANA package. However, you can change the language. You can use the translation feature using AC63. And then synchronized objects are added to default ABAP transport request. Once the transport is transported, the ABAP objects are imported into the ABAP system and the HANA packages and objects are imported into HANA repository of the target system and the objects are activated. So you can get integration with CTS in AS ABAP and options for transporting individual HANA objects and packages are also possible. So you can also select individual objects from your package and transport it, or from HANA repository you can select your individual object and transport it. If you have any previously transported complete HANA delivery unit which you have done using HTC, you can migrate it to HTA. So now the third scenario is if you want to transport HANA native objects. The first option is if you can use CTS plus if you have CTS already in your landscape. So CTS plus is suitable for heterogeneous transport landscapes. It is similar to other non-ABAP objects where HANA content can be transported using CTS. It can be done with minimum efforts for configuration. If you are already using CTS in your landscape, then you are already familiar with CTS, so it becomes easy for you to transport it using CTS plus. And this option is used for different solutions like SAP BI or mobile, etc. It is required to create a link between HANA content or other non-ABAP development objects and non-SAP HANA development objects. So this transport scenario is integrated into existing CTS landscape, and it is also integrated into SAP tools for change control like change request management and quality gate management from SAP Solution Manager. It is also possible to configure the transport routes for the system. Now, if you do not have CTS Plus in your landscape, then you can go for Application Lifecycle Management tool. This is used for performing and monitoring the transport. It is a lightweight and very easy to use tool, which is suitable for non-ABAP development. So guys, please go ahead and try the transport of your HANA objects or ABAP objects in your project.